Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you've not been here before, my name is Tracy Mayhew and I write contemporary romances set here in the UK and also YA fantasy fiction based around myths and legend. My current work in progress is the third book in the Viking Sagas trilogy called Rivers of Blood and Fire, and that's based around Norse mythology. I do regular videos giving you updates on my progress. I must admit I haven't done one since before Christmas, but there is one coming. But for now, what I thought I'd do is I would share the planning process. It's half term here in the UK, so I have a whole week laid out before me where I can do anything with regard to my writing, and I can finally catch up on all the things I've been putting off with regard to my author career because of school and not being around during the day to actually crack on with any of the tasks that I've got set out before me. So I have a process for planning thanks to Ali Abdaal, which you would have heard me talk about in one of my previous videos. It's called the Weekly Review, and it revolves around three principles, which is remind, reflect, and plan. Remind part reminds you about, what your goals are for this quarter. The reflect part allows you to reflect on the past week and how things have been, your challenges, your successes, things like that. And then your plan section allows you to sit down with your calendar, whether that's a paper calendar, whether that's a digital calendar like mine, and allows you to actually plan out for the whole week ahead of you. I'm going to disappear into my notebook for a little while. So the first thing I do every week is I get my notebook, and I do a one-page review basically of the last week following that process. It does help to write down your quarterly goals. I was skeptical of this at first because I thought, what's the point of doing it every 7 days? There's no point, but it does actually keep it in your head. And actually I find myself now during the week thinking, am I working towards XYZ? Am I doing this? What are my top 3 priorities? Have I made progress towards them? And I never was doing that before. So it is something that has helped me. I hope it can help you. If you find value in this video, let me know. Let's crack on then. So I'm going to disappear, as I say, into my notebook, and I'll be back with you in a little while. As we start this, I'm looking at my reference notes for the weekly plan that are always on my desk. I find it useful to constantly refer back to the process so that I can keep myself on track and stay focused. I always find the remind part of this process the easiest because it's literally rewriting your quarterly goals, which is great for keeping those goals fresh in your mind. In the past, I always found it quite easy to lose my goals in the noise of life. After that, I continue on to my reflection of the past week, thinking about my wins and my challenges before going on to thinking about my top 3 priorities for the coming week. Okay, so I have managed to do my planning now. So I reminded myself what my quarterly goals were, which were to finish the second part of Rivers of Blood and Fire. My quarterly life quest was to walk 3 to 4 times a week. And I do try to maintain that every week, regardless of whether I'm at work or not. But when I'm at work, I limit my walking to those days when I'm at work because I'm already up, I'm already about, I'm already in that mindset. Whereas when I'm not at work, on those days when it's term time, I kind of feel the need to rest more. So I've been trying to balance that a little bit better than I have been in the past. So it's a work in progress. It always is with me. I didn't really have any top 3 priorities. I just did a couple of tasks that I needed to do because last week I made the decision that as it was the last week of term and I had this full week of half term coming up, I was just not going to push myself too much and I was just going to take it easy, which was great because when I did my reflection, I was able to say that I had the time, I took some time to rest, which I don't always give myself because I always seem to be on the go. And that's my own fault a lot of the time because I always feel like I need to be on the go, I need to be doing something. But yeah, this week I did take the time to rest, which was really nice. And with that rest, I took the time to read, and I'm reading a really good book at the moment called The Exiled Queen, which I'm really enjoying. I will be reviewing that hopefully at the end of this month. I think I'm on track to finish it by the end of this month. I hope so, because I have a massive book that I want to read in March. So anyway, enough about that. This is not the video for books. And I also got to spend some time with family because we had a kind of family get together yesterday, which was Saturday, which was quite nice. There were a couple of challenges last week. I won't go into them, but it's good to acknowledge your challenges so that you can hopefully then try to figure out ways to kind of overcome them for the following week. And then I got to the plan section, and my top 3 priorities are basically, I've got this whole list here that on my other notebook where I just dump everything. and I'll be going through this to put into my digital calendar in a bit. I scanned through this and I thought, right, we'll take 3 things from here that are my top priorities. Number 1 is obviously writing. Number 2 is some newsletter stuff I need to do. I need to update my newsletter. I feel like it's a constant war with me and this newsletter that I've got, but I'm hoping that I'm taking it slowly this time and I'm building it bit by bit. So hopefully this time will be the last time I do anything with my newsletter, fingers crossed. I'm sorry if you're on my mailing list and you feel like you're being messed about, but you know, we're getting there. And then I also have plans to make the second book in the Viking saga, The Rising Storm, into a paperback, because I have a couple of craft fairs coming up this year and book fairs, and I really want to be able to showcase the Viking saga in all its glory, with books 1 and 2 on the table as well. So yeah, that's the plan this week. They are my 3 top priorities, but obviously I will be having other things on my list, on my calendar to do as well. So once I have my top 3 priorities, because this notebook does not live on my desk, this is literally just a weekly reflection, diary, journal type thing, I then transfer my top priorities to a sheet of paper that I can then paperclip to the notebook that I do keep open on my desk all week, so that when I sit down in the morning, I can see that and I can see my quarterly goals. And Ali Abdaal has always said it's good to have them front and center. As I said to you before, I've always been a little bit skeptical about it, but I'm finding this year that actually having them front and center has been a real bonus, just for keeping it in here more so than it has ever been before. So I would recommend that if you take nothing else away from this video, that you try and keep your quarterly quests or your goals or whatever, however you do your goal planning. I would try to have your goals out and open on your desk or on a whiteboard if you've got a whiteboard, or as a background to your computer desktop, whatever works for you, because I just feel like it's working for me, and giving it a go is not going to be too much of a problem for anyone. So if it doesn't work for you, fair enough, but if you don't try, you'll never know. So now that I've got my top 3 priorities, we're going to head over to the computer and I'm going to plan the rest of my week with you. So let's go. As I'm behind on my YouTube videos, I make a point of scheduling them first, and I try to batch them where I can. So as you can see, Monday morning will be a filming morning. After that, I move on to my top priorities for the week, starting with my cover design. As you can see, I also make use of the notes section. This allows me an overview of the project so I can get each task done and won't forget anything. Once I've set a task, I always color code that block, as you can see. Next, I schedule all my writing blocks for the week, and to make things easier for myself, I just duplicate them and then adjust the times. As you can see, I like to be pretty consistent with my writing blocks. Now it's time to fill in the rest of my schedule. My newsletter blocks go on, and I will have 2 of these throughout the week. Then I want to continue reading my CP's WIP this week, and I also want to make time for some webinars I have to catch up with as well. So I've marked those in. As you can see, there is lots of white space on my calendar, but I need that white space in order to chop and change and take the time that I need to rest. It's taken me a while, but I finally realised that rest is crucial to my well-being and overall productivity. So if you are someone who, like me, used to fill their calendar with tasks, I challenge you to try and incorporate some time for rest and flexibility and see if it makes a difference to your overall productivity too. And that's a wrap on the planning. So I like to keep things as simple as possible. I don't want to be here for hours planning and using time for planning when I could be writing. So everything that I've done, this weekly review that I use from Ali Abdaal, that takes literally about 20 minutes tops. The planning on the computer takes about 10 minutes tops. But I do like to have a lot of white space, because as it stands at the moment, that white space gets filled with moving scheduled things into that white space, or something comes up, or I just need to take the time to rest, and I know that I've got that white space in which to do that, and that's fine. The only non-negotiable on my calendar is writing at the moment, because I haven't, for various reasons, been able to concentrate on writing. So it's it will be a non-negotiable this week. And then obviously I've got my YouTube videos to film as well. That is important because I never got to film those last week, which I should have done. I've got this one to schedule as well. So yeah, it's all go this week, I think. And I'm really looking forward to having a week where I can just be an author for a change and not a teacher first. That's it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed coming along for my planning session. Let me know if you've enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've got anything out of it, particularly if you're doing, say, the reflection or leaving, the quarterly goals out within Bullseye on your phone, on your computer, however you choose to do it. Yeah, and if you enjoyed this video, let me know. Let me know if you'd like to see more of these kind of videos, and I'll see what I can do for the future. But until next time, I will see you in the next one, and have a great week. Bye.